God.
Hi there, I'm Zach Elmblad, and you're watching Somewhere in Kalamazoo. This show is going to be your all-access pass to everything there is to do in Kalamazoo. From biking the Calhaven Trail to kayaking Morrow Pond, and from walking the streets of downtown to the art hop. There's all sorts of fun things to do in our town, and I want to show you all of them. On today's episode, I have 3 segments to share with you. The first is a student film that I made called How to Make a Pretty Average Acrylic Painting. The second is a video of my buddy Kevin and I kayaking on Morrow Pond, just outside Kalamazoo, and exploring the industrial ruins that are right near the dam on the Kalamazoo River. It was a good time. The third video is actually my personal portfolio presentation that I made for my finals at Kalamazoo Valley Community College's Center for New Media in downtown Kalamazoo. It details how I approach the creative process as well as some of my history, so it'll give you a chance to get to know who I am and how I approach filmmaking and adventures in general. If you have any suggestions about events, people, places, things, or anything interesting about Kalamazoo or the general area, feel free to drop me a line at somewhereincalmazoo@gmail.com. You can also check out my personal website, zachelmblad.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Hi, I'm Zach Elmblad, and I'm a pretty average painter. I haven't painted much at all in the last few years, but I can't say that I'm new to the practice. One thing that I can say I'm new to, though, is acrylic painting. I bought a set of acrylics a few years ago, and I didn't really get to use them that much, so I figured I'd use them for this new project. But first, here's some examples of my oil style. This is the Cupcake Castle from a story I'm developing about a princess and her 2 pets, Toby and Chuck. I made these 2 drawings before I started the painting. I'm using a pre-coated 11x14 canvas panel that I got from Blick in Chicago. Blick has stores all over the place, and they're probably the best art supply website around. For a medium, I'll be using a blue tempera cake. Tempera makes for good sketching, and it's super cheap. I'm going to make this sketch with a wash brush. This is a Chinese style. It can make a wide variety of strokes. The bristles are pretty long, and it has a pretty good moppy feel to it. So it keeps your sketches nice and loose, and it can move a lot of water or pigment wherever it needs to go. My work table is a sheet of refrigerator shelf glass gaff taped onto the top of a flat file I got from a school that closed. I've got a collection of brushes on the top shelf, and the acrylics are on the next shelf down. This is a 48 color set of Liquitex Basics. It's nice to start out with such a full palette, and the acrylic is definitely a lot cheaper than oil. With these smaller tubes, I can sample colors I like and buy bigger tubes when I need them. What makes tempera great for sketching on gesso is that if you work fast, you can just take a damp rag and wipe it all away. I use a lot of wet and wet blending techniques, mostly because that's how I learned with oils. You can do this with acrylic to a certain extent, but you really have to take a more layered approach. This approach is new to me in painting, but I've been doing a lot of vector graphics type stuff lately, and I'm starting to get the hang of thinking that way.
Coming into the end here, I just want to do a bit of detail work on a few more spots. I wanted to add a bit of depth to the cherry, bulk up the clouds a little bit, and make the road brown instead of gray. And that should just about finish it up. Here's the final product. Not too bad for a few hours of painting. Most importantly, though, it was a good time and a good problem-solving exercise. Awesome.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and that you learned at least one thing. For me, I think I'm going to stick to oils. It just seems to work better for me. But for something that needs to go quickly and over a long period of time in short bursts, acrylic is definitely pretty awesome because it dries 1,000 times faster than oil. That can also sort of be a problem since I really like the wet and wet mixing techniques, and acrylic just doesn't match the blending capabilities of oil. So I'll probably continue to experiment a little bit with acrylic, but I'm an oil painter. I'll see you next time. Take care. Hi, I'm Zach Elmblad. I'm a multimedia artist looking for new clients, new challenges, and new work. This is my portfolio / demo reel / all-around good time. I'm going to first start talking about art and its personal meaning to me and my interpretation of it. Following that, I'm going to briefly discuss some of my portfolio elements, and then we're going to follow up with another brief discussion about art and its broader meaning. The creative process has been part of my life almost since the start. This is young Zach playing the saxophone, well-fed and blissfully unaware of the future. In my studies of the creative process, I've always found that the story that art tells us can sometimes be just as important, if not even more important, than the actual content of the piece itself. Take the Mona Lisa, for example, a fine painting by a fine man. Now, this painting has existed for a few hundred years, and over those few hundred years, it's been mythologized, scrutinized, ripped off, copied, stolen, and generally well-renowned. A technical, almost detached application of Da Vinci's brushwork and stylistic applications. Da Vinci's journey to create this work has almost become a side note in comparison to the legend that surrounds it. The cultural value of this work has been compounded by the people that interacted with the physical painting, as well as the people who talked about it after it was created. And it's the type of thing that gives longevity and cultural relevance to a work, and the type of thing that makes it important. Through interacting with the physical object, people have almost created a separate work entirely. Like many creative types, I've never found one single form of media that I could call my own. I've never found one style that wholly exemplifies everything that I'm trying to express. I've been interested in many different types of media, including sound design, painting, motion graphics,
The Fabulous Foss of Toby and Chuck. Starring Toby and Chuck. Copyright 2013 by Elmblad Media Group. All rights reserved.
illustration, story art. Oh yeah, that's a horse. Photography. As well as the business aspects of art. This is my production company, the New Scum Productions. I started this company to manage my intellectual property rights, publish my books, as well as maintain financial integrity when sending and receiving invoices. It's also good to have a professional name associated with any of your freelance work. So, this is my freelance business, Elmblad Media Group. Much more corporate friendly. This business handles most of my freelance work dealing with the public and corporate clients. This is my third book, Borderline Vagabond. I wrote it, edited it, and published it myself through Elmblad Media Group and the New Scum Productions. Using online tools like the Audiobook Creation Exchange and Lulu.com, I was able to maintain my own control over the intellectual property rights management, as well as maintain artistic control over the product. Everything in this book is exactly the way that I wanted it. All the graphics, all the formatting, the cover, the back cover, even down to the price. I control how much profit I make. I control where it's distributed, what countries it's distributed in, as well as maintaining control over audio rights as well. Like my other novels, I'll be releasing this simultaneously as hardcover, paperback, digital, and audio in the spring of 2014. The most important practice for any creative person is to maintain a large number of outlets for your creativity. Trying to funnel everything into just one single approach is just going to give you a headache. It's going to make you frustrated and it's going to make you give up. Using a variety of ways to express ourselves allows us to channel our creativity in more diverse ways, attract a broader audience, and even maintain a level of challenge so that the things that you're creating don't bore you. Seek knowledge through other means. Listen to music you've never listened to before. Go to an art show. Participate in a collaborative effort. Find inspiration in places that you couldn't before. Make the movie you want to see. Make the music you want to hear. Write the play that you want to see performed. Leonardo da Vinci wasn't just a painter either. He was a sculptor. He was an inventor. He was a thinker. He was a learner. He was a doer of things. Any kind of limitation would cease to explain all of what Da Vinci was as an artistic individual and as a creative person. Just trying to call Da Vinci a painter puts him inside a box that he doesn't fit in. Aim to be like Leonardo. Strive for perfection. With modern technology at our fingertips, it's now more possible than ever to become a true Renaissance man. Jack of all trades, master of each. I'm not only interested in publishing books, making films, and creating web content. I want to create art. I want to be part of a movement. I want to create something that lasts. I want to be part of a team that makes something that has meaning and value. If you want to help me create something special, let's get in touch. I'm Zach Elmblad, and I want to help you create your next project.
Dark nights, bright lights, in the city of dreams. Take a bite out of life, almost there. Can you feel it in the air? Grooving in time. Station stop. It's time to wake up. She's fixing her hair. I just had to stare. She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous.